We're ready.
So hey guys, I'm Paige Sabo, and these are my teammates John Branson and Mitch Howe, and we just wanted to say thank you for having us, and we are here to present our digital media strategy for the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So what is the actual problem here? Well, before, most consumers were getting all of their media surrounding sports from the television, but that is changing. Television is losing market share. There's a whole plethora of other platforms now, such as Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and virtual reality, which is where we think the future of sports is going. So beyond that, Vegas also has a really interesting another problem because it's Vegas, right? There's a million things to do. So how do you get people to come to the NHL games? Well, that's something else to consider, and that's something we built into our presentation as well. So MIT needs to continue to diversify and adapt their strategy to make sure they're remaining competitive. So that brings us into our solution, which is really marrying the in-arena and out-of-arena aspects of an NHL game. So how do we do that? Well, virtual reality, the in-game fan engagement app, and supplemental content such as YouTube and things of that nature. So we're going to dive deeper into those as we go on, but it really boils down into those three things. And when we were thinking about those three things, we also needed to take into some special considerations. So the NHL just expanded, so this is the first year that they're going to have a franchise in Vegas. So they're projecting that it's going to be 85% local and 15% tourist-based as far as attendance goes, but we don't know how that's going to play out. So we really need to make sure that we're monitoring the consumers that are going there and that we're appealing to their needs. Also, they're really trying to capitalize on the fact that they are in Vegas. So they're trying to build this whole Vegas vibe around the NHL franchise. So it's right on the Strip. They're going to try to bring all that entertainment and excitement to it. So we need to make sure that what we're doing from a media aspect is really mirroring that. So after taking all this into consideration, we were able to build out a really cool execution, which I'm going to turn over to John to talk more about.
So the things I'd like to focus on first are steps 3 and 4 of what Paige was talking about with the 85% local and 15% tourist, as well as the arena. In a 2013 survey that was done by Nate Silver, who talked yesterday, while they were vetting the process for selecting Las Vegas as a location, the first problem that came up was with 2 million residents, only about 90,000 of them actually were listed or came up to be NHL really diehard fans. The second one was that the arena is right on the Strip. So when you're talking about locals, getting people to the Strip might not be the most convenient thing for them to do. So how do we do that? Well, we create an out-of-arena experience, but we bring them into the arena and allow Golden Knights fans to be part of the game, whether they want to come to the Strip to T-Mobile Arena or whether they want to watch it from their home. However, we don't want to just create an experience. We want to create a Las Vegas experience, something that's never been done before on any scale and any level. So what we want to do is create the first all-comprehensive, every angle possible VR experience. What you see here is a picture of the seating chart of the arena, T-Mobile Arena. And I would like to take you quickly through the 4 levels that we would provide to our viewers, both home and away. The blue X's on the outside represent the upper deck, which is split into the a la carte option or the season pass. You would have the ability to switch between all 4 cameras at any time on that circle, so that regardless of what side you're cheering for, whether you want to see from the goal or not, you could choose that selection. The second item would be the goal, where you're directly behind the goalie on either side, whether your team's playing offense or playing defense, or whether you want to watch just your favorite goalie. You could choose that if you wanted. The third option is from center ice. Now, we chose this as our third option with about $4.99 per game and $179.99 for the season pass, because your viewing is a little bit limited. While you can see the entire ice, there's still a little bit that you can't see completely, which is why we wanted to put 4 cameras in the scoring zones, which are the yellow X's, where you could switch between all 4 of those cameras at any time that you want to get the closest action and be able to see your favorite player, your favorite winger, your favorite center score from any part of that 4 pieces on the ice. The most important part about the strategy, though, is a lot what we talked about yesterday was VR is cool, but hasn't been monetized yet. So what we are providing here is the first ever, the baseline goal for setting a price for VR, both for season and for a la carte. So how are we going to do this? We would like to partner with NextVR. Las Vegas is the Golden Knights' core competency is entertainment, is not VR. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to partner with NextVR, the current market leader, and the ones who took control of the NBA on Tuesday nights, as well as the most famous one, the Golden State Warriors championship ceremony, which was done in VR. Having them as a partner will allow us to provide the most up-to-date, most technologically advanced VR experience possible. We'd also like to bring in 3 types of VR content. We'd like to bring in Google Daydream, Samsung Gear VR, as well as PlayStation VR. The first 2 VR concepts are wireless, allows you to be social, allow you to move around. They're the most widely accepted. The third one, PlayStation VR, recently in the New York Times had sold about 1 million units in 4 months. With those 1 million units, it creates that couch social experience that people worry about having in VR, where you can still watch it on TV and see what the person in VR is seeing on TV while also seeing it yourself. You can share it, you can move it around, and keep sports absolutely social. Now that we've shown you what we can do outside of the arena, I'd like to pass it to Mitch, who will be able to go around what's inside the arena.
Thank you. So what we've found is that millennials, I'm going to talk bad about us for just a second here, we have a really, really low patience and low willingness to wait for anything, which is why inside the arena, we want to utilize what's called Wait Time. Wait Time is a startup that's based out of Detroit. It's already in a few NBA arenas. And what it does is uses facial recognition tracking cameras to see exactly how long it's taking people to get through lines for concessions and restrooms. This information is then transferred to video boards that are throughout the concourse level of the arena, as well as can be implemented onto an app on your smartphone that shows you how short the lines are at any concession and can direct you to the specific location closest to you that would minimize your wait time. So what we would like to do is have the MIT group purchase and install the cameras and the video boards. The cost for installation for the cameras is about $1,000 per camera and $2,500 per video board. And what that would allow us to do is then control all of the advertising that goes onto the video boards, as well as the phone app. So what we're thinking is that because there's so much competition for entertainment dollars in Vegas, we'll be able to charge a premium for that in-arena advertising space. As well as we believe that really the future of digital advertising is going to be through geo-targeting. So the ability to deliver ads not only for the Vegas Golden Knights, but for any of our partners through push notifications on your phone that are location-based as you move throughout the city is really going to be a potentially lucrative future revenue source for the company. So now that we've spoken about sort of inside the arena, we also want to talk about how to engage fans outside of the arena. The days of the traditional beat writer are over. Now people don't read things that are 10,000 words long. They don't have time for that. But they really still consume a lot of content. They just want small video clips. So what we want to do is really create best-in-class engaging video content that people really want. So we want to not only show video on YouTube and in other avenues that are on the ice, we want to take you inside the locker room, we want to take you throughout the city with the players, and even on the road. We really want to integrate the fans into the lives of the athletes, to humanize them and show a different side that most fans never really see. And what we really believe that that's going to do is create this sort of connection between the fan and the player that is really going to want to make people want to go to the arena, whether it's physically inside the arena or whether it's from their couch through VR. So just to kind of summarize, we feel like diversifying MIT's portfolio to include both new advertising streams as well as virtual reality really sets the MIT group up for future success in the digital media space. Thank you. We'll now entertain questions.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, sure, I'll kick it off. Thank you guys for the presentation. I guess my first question is just how did you come to decide on the price points for the VR tickets? And how do you think you can help convert those single pass buyers to the season buyers, which I'm assuming are much more profitable for you guys?
Well, we came up with the price point. Basically what I did, I took a look at is what current small pieces of content are costing, whether it's through the PlayStation Store or whether through it's the Oculus Store. So the a la carte prices came from what I would consider similar experiences, like if you wanted to watch a concert in VR or if you wanted to watch a mini movie. So the pricing point came from those situations. So people wouldn't be shocked at the price because when they're on these PlayStation stores or the Oculus stores, it's something that they see and it fits right in line. For the season pass, I priced it near what we would consider NHL Center Ice or MLB.TV, where it's in line with those products, but we believe it gives us a competitive advantage because it's a new experience. It's something that's more immersive than just being able to watch a normal radio broadcast. And what we were feeling is that we still have to keep these separate because we don't want everybody to be on the season pass, because if you're doing the a la carte, about the first game of the season, their first NHL game, the first time that they are going to clinch a division, you want those a la cartes. So you want to always keep that an opportunity. But the season pass, we were going to push towards the casinos and the hotels. I mean, what would be better than being at your favorite sports bar at your Aria or your Mirage and making people gamble more? It's like, oh, you can go to the arena, sure, but we have the season pass where you can put on the Samsung Gear VR, keep you at the casino, and allow you to gamble more. So the first rollout for the season passes, we believe, would be very popular to the casinos themselves to keep people at the casino while also letting them do their NHL thing and provide more revenue to the hotels themselves.
Thanks.
What is your stance on local television rights deals? Today, they still stand as a pretty healthy form of revenue for local teams. How do you reconcile the healthy business of today versus the changes that you've all talked about, especially in light of your new VR product?
That's a great question, because nobody really knows what that's going to look like. And it even changes depending on the market that you're in. So we don't even know kind of what the local Vegas market is going to look like even 2 years down the road as far as local TV. So in terms of just kind of merging the two, I don't have a great answer for you, because things change so rapidly. I mean, VR could become industry standard in a year. It could be 10 years before the whole industry adopts it. And so it's almost, if I'm on the local TV side, I've got to be thinking, how are we going to adapt tomorrow? You've got to have that plan in place, because we know that the market is going to change. We just don't know when it is. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. You mentioned that there are required partnerships in order to establish the VR, so NHL and its TV affiliates, Samsung Gear, whatnot. How do you propose going about actually establishing those partnerships? And do you have any concerns that one or more of those entities might be opposed to actually allowing that to happen?
Well, when we were looking at it, it was difficult. We couldn't find price points on what it cost to partner up with them, what they would kind of go that way. But when we were doing our valuation of it, we made the assumption that when we did decide to partner up with these individuals, that part of our we'd make a concession almost for ad space. So if you're watching the Golden Knights game on your PlayStation VR, in between periods you'd get an ad for PlayStation Vue or the next game that came out. If you're watching it on your Samsung Galaxy, you might get one for a Samsung TV or a Samsung laptop or a Samsung computer, as a way to work together with them and not say hoard all the dollars, but make it exactly that, a partnership, not like a one-way contract where we'd have that revenue sharing to say, thank you for putting us and allowing us to broadcast our content on your device. And as such, we would like to make the concession and say, you know what, Google, if you want to run an ad during in-between periods or when there's timeouts, that's part of how we share this goal. So it wasn't necessarily we were looking at the problems of it. It was the price point of it being a one-sided affair, but thought that the best way to go about this content and to sell more content would be to allow them to advertise and allow them to share it in that way. Absolutely.
Ultimately, the market for VR has not been determined. Nobody really knows what this is going to look like, and that's kind of why we decided to structure it this way, in that somebody has to be the first to say, okay, we're going to do this full time. So while we've got, you know, the price point plans, somebody also has to be the first to structure these deals, and we're going to have to go through that as the first group that does that. There may have to be more concessions to be made because we're pulling viewers from, you know, Center Ice or NHL TV or whatever. But at some point, somebody is going to do this. Why not us?
Well, let's talk about the fan angle, though, because the first pillar of your strategy in VR rests on fans either buying or using goggles to watch the game. You mentioned that there are some successes in adoption. PlayStation View is one example, but I don't think we're there in terms of mainstream adoption of VR. So convince us that this isn't going to be a problem if we go forward with a VR strategy, that fans will actually use these goggles to watch games at the scale that would make business sense for the Golden Knights.
Sure. The scale that we used to begin with was roughly 100 viewers per game on the a la carte option, with about 1,000 to 1,200 season pass holders for each of those levels, which gave us a positive net present value to begin with. However, our confidence in this product came from a consumer VR report from Tractica, which basically said by 2021, it's expected that 300 million VR devices will be in households or shipped or sold, as well as it becoming a $35 billion industry. So while it's a very risky proposition that might run the way of 3D TVs, where it had a really quick bump up, but has kind of slowly drifted away quickly. Based on the projections from Tractica, this will not make us a profit in the first year. But if we are the first movers, we set the price point and allow it. And if the projections follow through, where it does become that big of an industry, where it is $35 billion of revenue a year, we definitely believe that being that first mover into that category would put us ahead of any competitor, anybody who tried to mimic what we do.
So I agree with you. When we were going through this, I don't use VR. I've never used it. It was kind of outside of my realm of understanding, and I think a lot of people are in that boat. But there's people like John that are all about VR, and he has a VR, and he loves it. So when he was explaining it to me, and explaining the whole experience, I thought about a lot of things, like if I'm at home with my kids, like mom or dad, and I want to watch the game or go to the game, but I can't really do that anymore because I have little kids that might be doing something. If I'm just in a headset, I can still watch the game, get the experience, and still be at home if something were to happen and they need me or things like that. So really appealing to those type of consumers, I think that's where I see it catching on a lot, because I do agree with you. It's hard to get people to think like this, especially when nothing like this has ever been on the market before.
I think what we're going to see over the next 10 years, and you're already starting to see it, is newer stadiums aren't as big as the stadiums that were being built 10 years ago. They're being built with less seats, more premium seating. Eventually, we're going to get to a point with very small stadiums and arenas where everything's suites, everything's club-level seating, and the casual fan is going to get priced out of this experience. And so where we see VR long-term is being able to put these fans who are getting priced out into the arena where they still can't buy a ticket and pay $50 for parking and spend $10, for a hot dog at the concession stand. So it's just a different way to get people into the arena without them actually being able to physically be there.
On the same token, if you have a new franchise that's starting up in Vegas, and obviously one of the objectives is to bring people live into the arena and to really experience it, but also to spend their dollars, how do you reconcile having this VR component with also wanting to attract people into the stadium? Is there an opportunity to do potentially augmented reality where you're putting metrics above different players that are skating around or anything like that?
I think so. So if you see Fox Sports, I believe, did the MLS Cup Championship, and they had kind of a virtual viewing center as opposed to full VR. So they had stats all on the right, stuff all on the left, your rolling Twitter screen on the left, and you could pull these things. I didn't use it, but you could drag and drop and create your own virtual viewing experience in sort of an augmented way where you're not completely immersed in it, but you have your second screen and your third screen and your fourth screen right in front of you, and you're able to see everything all in one lens as opposed to having your phone and your iPad and your TV out in front of you.
And with that, we'd like to thank you guys for watching our presentation, listening to us today, and hope you enjoy the conference. Thank you very much.